So since COVID hit, we've been all remote working. So we're just starting to get back in the office. Most of us will stay remote because it works better for us. We're more productive. We work longer at home, so they like most of us at home. All my supply chain folks are home. That means all our buyers are home. You won't find them in these buildings. So I am Maureen Bryant. I am glad to be here. I have been with Harris for 25 years, so a long time. I started out in the vaults, like Nancy was saying, locked up in a vault for 7 years. Then I moved over to Supplier Diversity, working with Rhonda Salmon. I don't know if anybody knows her. Long-term employee. She was there 30 years doing Supplier Diversity. I moved over to Government Program Compliance, working with our auditors. So that's our DCMA and DCAA auditors. So I did that for 12 years, and I've been back in Supplier Diversity for about 3 years. So it's good to be back. Unfortunately, I'm working at home. I wanted to go hybrid. They said no. We don't have any room in the buildings for you. Another reason why is because I have 10 SBLOs that work for me. They are small business liaison officers. They are working hard for you. They're working hard for their communities to try to find suppliers. It is a very difficult job. They are scattered all the way over the East Coast to the West Coast. So, and we've grown a lot. We've changed a lot. And a couple of these slides will tell you how much we've changed. Since COVID hit, it's been very difficult to find suppliers and to bring them into the office. So what I normally do is I do a lot of team meetings. Every month I pick a supplier that hasn't worked for Harris. Does anybody work for Harris right now? Anybody doing work? Ken does. I've known Ken for a long time. Ken and prototyping's been around a long time. I'm sorry, you gentlemen? Morsecom, been around a long time, working for Harris.
30 years.
Yep, that's great. That's great. Are you still small?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great. Oh, great. All right. So again, most of our buyers, you won't find them in the building. So, you know what I have, and I'll show you it later, is a if you want to do business with Harris sheet. What are these called? QR codes. I have a QR code. It takes you to our supplier portal. You fill it out. Know your next codes, because that's how our buyers look for you. We are all big on next codes. So if you don't know your next code and you're not registered in the SBA site or SAM, we can't find you. Please. If you take away anything today, if you are not registered in SAM or the SBA site, we can't find you. We won't use you. You're a ghost to us. So very important for you and your friends and other businesses. So the first chart goes over who we are now. If you have been around in the community a long time, we were just one government communications sites. We've split, we've merged, we've sold off, we've acquired different areas, different companies. Here's how we sit today. L3 Harris is aligned under 4 segments, sorry, the next chart, sectors. GCS is now split, it's gone. You'll still find it out there somewhere. But right now we have Space and Airborne. It is my area of where I work. We are the largest segment at Harris, L3 Harris. And we supply mostly comm systems to the government, to the FAA, and most of the agencies out there. And we do cybersecurity. Aerojet is new to us. We acquired them last year. We grew when we acquired them, we grew 17%. If I take Aerojet off of there, L3 Harris grew about 5% last year. That's phenomenal. We are not lacking business. We have more business than we can handle right now. We're hiring. Even though you probably know about a layoff, I'm not talking about it. We needed it, let's put it that way. So we've seen significant growth over the last year. We continue to grow, And my supplier diversity office cannot keep up with it. We can't find suppliers. We're constantly growing too. I just hired 2 new SBLOs in Texas and Rochester. So we continue to grow as a company. So we are committed to excellence. This chart shows how diversified we are. We are a prime contractor to the government on 60% of the work that we have. We do international. International, we do about 60% of our business to DOD, and the other 20 and the other 20. We have 20,000 engineers and senior scientists. We have 50,000 employees working for us around the world, and we're in 100 countries. So this chart shows you the SAS global footprint. We are all over the place. I have SBLOs in most of those states, working hard to find suppliers. Each one of those states may or may not have a Harris facility in it. They're all remote. The nearest facility could be 100 miles. We're not going back in the office. Our supply chain is not going back in the office. That doesn't mean we can't find you. We will find you, as long as you're in SAM or in the SBA Dynamic Search. So Airborne, again, is a $6.9 billion business. We're broken out by 4 sectors. We're broken out by space, which supports intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Then we have our airborne combat systems. They just formed this sector. So, as our customers, they're moving things around based on our customers. They want to group things, in other words. Our airborne combat systems was just formed, and it covers our threat, warning, and countermeasures. And then we have intel and cyber, which is situational awareness. Our robotics, our wireless products is in that area sector. And then our mission networks is all of our FAA work. So it makes business sense. It's hard for our SBLOs to find the suppliers in those niches. So let's talk about supplier diversity. Again, our supplier diversity mission is to find you. We need you. We can't do it without. I have about 1,500 suppliers that are small businesses in our portal. That is a lot. I do probably 50% of our business going to small business suppliers. That's how many procurement purchase orders we put out every year, 50%. We do phenomenal in that area. Our SBLOs are all over the world, and they're trying to find procurement. They're trying to find suppliers to deal with procurement goods and services for our buyers. Our buyers are going to continue to buy from the same supplier over and over and over because it's easy. That's what they tell me. It's easier to buy from that supplier. So I find new buyers and I put them in front of them, and then they think about it. However, a small business is equal to a large business at L3Harris. You are not any different. And I hate to say that, but I am reality, and I don't sugarcoat anything. If you get outbidded by a large business, or that large business is much cheaper to go to, they're going to go to it. We have no set-asides. There's nothing that separates you from that large business. You're together in that pool. So, and it's all about price. I'm telling you right now, I don't sugarcoat things. It's all about price.
Value.
Price, value, schedule, And once you get in, you got to keep your scores up. Scores are very important. Scores, quality, schedule. I just got back from Site Space. Site Space is on my mentor protege. They've been a mentor protege for 2 years. Their scores went down. We're not going to drop them. They also lost their status as, I want to say, SDB veteran owned. We're not going to drop them. We're going to help them. We're going to send the engineers. We're going to send me. We're going to send our supply chain folks out there and help them. We do a lot of mentor proteges. I think I got a slide on it. And a mentor protege agreement is just that. It's to mentor. It's to mentor the small businesses. We don't do mentor proteges with non-suppliers.
We do them with suppliers that have proven themselves to L3 Harris. So keep that in mind. I have about 5 minute proteges going on right now with DOD, NGA, SBA, and FAA. So, well, I'm big on it, but it exploded for some reason. I can't keep up with it. So, again, we're broken out. It starts from the engineering, right? Starts out at the drawings and everything, what we're doing for the government. Remember, L3 Harris doesn't really build anything. We're a research and development house. The military dreams it, and we make it happen. Those Boeing, those F-35, all those planes, they cannot fly without our avionics. We are big on avionics. We did not make the door fall off of the Boeing planes. It wasn't us. We made it keep flying. We do a lot of FAA work. So remember, we don't build anything. Yeah, we may have some things out there that are experimental, but we don't really build anything. Have you noticed all the new buildings going up? Those are for defense contracts. Most of that is customer-owned property. They are paying us to build those buildings because we're busting at the seams over there. Yeah, everybody's home, but we're still busting out. The engineers don't have enough playrooms. So, they need their playrooms. They need it. So it starts with the engineers. They consider the small businesses. They do their make-buy decisions. They have to document everything. Everything gets signed off by 100 people at Harris. They host CIBR workshops. If you've not, I have a scan code in here, and I gave you the where to go on the internet to look at our CIBR. If you don't know what CIBR is, go out there and read it. We're big on CIBR. I'm not involved in it. One of my SBLOs is. But we do a lot of CIBR workshops. We consult on CIBR phase 1 and 2 and efforts as a supplier to small business. Our engineering is involved in that. Then it moves down to the supply chain. They collaborate with engineering to determine the best source to meet the customer's mission. That's where I get involved, and I try to find the suppliers to make that vision come true. So it starts with the engineers. They have the vision. Supply chain, we find the suppliers, and then manufacturing start building it, and then small businesses involved when they start their CMLs. They start building their CMLs and all these suppliers, and they need more, and they need more. A lot of our programs have goals to meet. They have a 20%, a 30% goal on small business. So they come to us trying to find more suppliers than they started with at the engineering phase. So successful, what does it tell? Our small businesses are successful because they're commercially efficient. They're problem solvers. They fill technology gaps that we need, our critical needs of our large prime contractors and federal contractors. They increase the industrial base, they preserve and promote competition, and they create jobs. That's what my job is, to make sure that we are successful and we have successful small businesses all around. So, like I said, we do have a Mentor Protege program. It started kicking up about 2 months ago. Everybody started coming to me and saying they want a Mentor Protege agreement. It looks great. It's a lot of hard work. It looks great when I go into audit. Every year, my small business program is audited by the federal government. Every year. That's 17 locations that I go through audits. It's another reason I don't get out much. I'm in audit constantly. They are constantly auditing. My SBLOs can't keep up. I just finished 2 audits for Rochester and Clifton. They went very well. The government likes my small business program. They really do. They think we do a great job. Next month, I go through Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is now going through a DCMA audit of my small business program. So it's a very hard job balancing being out and finding suppliers in the community and then dealing with audits every month, every year. It sucks the life out of you. It really does. But I can't, they have to come in. They have to audit us. They audit us to the federal acquisition regulations. Those are the rules of the government. As a prime contractor, we have to follow every one of those rules. So if a large prime gives me a small business plan that tells me what they're gonna do with the money that I gave them, I give them $2 million. Now tell me, where are you gonna flow that money down to? How many small businesses are you gonna use with that $2 million? The government looks at that plan and says, I don't like it. It should have been 30%, you should have subcontracted out more. Why didn't you stop them? We do stop them. But, if a small business can't do it, then we can't, I have nobody. What am I gonna do? It's hard. I buy all my glass from my military displays for the cockpits at Alpharetta at a large business. I hate it. It's millions of dollars worth of glass we buy for these cockpits. I can't find a small business. It's so simple, right? It's just glass, but it's military spec glass that has to go on an F-35. So, anybody wants to start a glass company, talk to me. We have engineers and scientists and everything that have started businesses. We couldn't find something, I can't tell you what it is, but we couldn't find something from a small business or a large business. So there was some scientists and guys that started their own shop in their garage and built it. They did that with the promise that L3 Harris would continue to buy from them. And they're growing. They are doing great. We see it a lot. Go in your garage and start something. Build some glass or something for me. So here's the Mentor Protege approved. We are approved mentor for the DoD, NGIA, Homeland Security, State Department, FAA, and the Small Business Administration. We've been a mentor since 1998 when Rhonda Salmon was doing it. We're big on Mentor Protege agreements. They help the community and they really build those small businesses. They build them so much that they've turned into large businesses. But that's not the goal. The goal of a Mentor Protege program is to help you build your business so that you can go out and be a prime to the government. That's our job, to help you do that. Because once you get in there, you're good as gold, right? The money will start flowing. So, and sometimes we grow them into large businesses, and I hate that, but they like it. I still use them. Still got to use them. So we do use Mentor Protege. These are some of the informal things that we do with our proteges. We give them software licenses. We let them use our software. We let them use our buildings. They'll come in and sit in our buildings for a while. They work with our engineers. We do Harris Spotlight meetings. I do them every month. I'm going to do Ken in a couple months here because he needs to get out more. We used to host the MEP meetings. We haven't done that in a while. I want to do something like that starting pretty soon if I can find the resources to do it. I'm the only one here in Florida. I have my admin that sits here, but I'm it. I don't do a lot of SBLO work. I manage my SBLOs. That's very hard. It's very hard to get out in the community. I don't plan to hire an SBLO for Florida. I plan to do it myself, but without doing the audit, if I can get away with not doing audits. So it's tough. We're hiring, but I have a strict budget to meet like everybody else. And then we team with the economic development resources on behalf of small businesses. So, Maureen, how do I do business with Harris? It's very tough, right? It's a network of, I don't know where to go and I don't know what to do. How do I do it? Or do you buy from me? Do you buy this? Do you buy that? We buy a lot of things, but mostly what we buy, we're buying anything that goes on an aircraft that's military specs. That's where I come in. I am space and airborne. I am finding transceivers, oscillators, anything that goes on a plane. If you want to do business with Harris, after you've done your research, you have to do research. You have to know what we do and who we are and what we buy. And we're very transparent out there. We're a publicly traded company. If you got something that can go on an airplane, give me a call or go register. Know your next codes. If your company is selling something that doesn't go on an aircraft, maybe your services. Maybe I saw ServPro somewhere around here. If you're doing that, I'm not the person to talk to. I'm very transparent, right? However, you are going to still register. Because in this portal, it goes through all those divisions I showed you, Aerojet, IMS, comm systems. It's going all to those, it's going to the buyers are searching. The indirect is where you fall. You're an indirect supplier. I'm not looking for you. But you're gonna know your next codes and you're gonna register anyway. So again, know your business size. I have a lot of suppliers. This is my pet peeve. I have a lot of suppliers that wound up suppliers to me, and they have to fill out what we call a supplier certification every year. They have to tell me my next codes, and they have to tell you whether you're small or large. Some of them don't even know, and I can't tell them. One year they fill it out as a women-owned business, the next year it's small. That throws my reporting off, and when DCMA comes to audit me, they're seeing it, and they're giving me non-compliances. They're holding me back from things. I need good ratings. Know your size. If you don't know your size, there's plenty of companies out there to tell you whether you're women-owned, you qualify for women-owned. And it's getting harder right now because now the hub zone maps are moving and the women-owned requirements are changing. So talk to the SBA, talk to your PTEC or Apex, whatever it's called right now. Know your size. I go from small to women-owned to small. All my reporting's off and the government hates it. So please, know your size. If you're doing business with us now, please fill out your supplier qualification forms correctly. So if you're interested in CIBR, you can follow that link. I didn't put any links here because I'm not releasing this presentation. I'm not allowed to. But take a picture if you want of the supplier qual form, or you can scan the QR code. So here's some tips. Know your company. Even when you're doing matchmaking, we go to matchmaking. I'm going to Detroit next week for a Men of Protege conference. I do a lot of conferences outside the state. I travel. We get matchmaking events, and the supplier didn't do their research on L3 Harris, and Grumman and Boeing and all the guys said the same thing. They'll sit at the table and say, what do you guys do? You didn't. You signed up for a matchmaking event. You don't even know what L3 Harris does. So please, do your research. Know what your products and service niche is. Know what you do and you bring to the table. It's super important. Who's your clients? I ask people who they're working for now. Are you doing any work for, because it tells us a lot. If you're doing work for Boeing, I'm interested. Or Lockheed, or Grumman, and they do the same thing. Hey, doing any work for any prime contractor? It's important. Clearly articulate your value proposition and to leave it to 3 minutes. You guys did that earlier, selling to each other. And I wanted to mention also, remember, you could team up with another small business. If you have something to offer and we buy that and the other business has a little bit too, and you're more powerful together, team up. We tell people all the time, team up. Certifications, we ask what kind of certifications that you have, and then what your scheduled quality ratings are from other customers. Know your target market, your target audience, and handle long-term commitments and right organization for the biggest opportunity. Know where you fit. Know where you fit. Yeah, I may not buy from half of you, but I tell you what, you're still going to register because there may be something, even if we buy it one time, we're buying it, and then you'll be in the portal, and then they can find you again when they go to buy it again. We have a lot of small businesses that we buy stuff one time, in and out, because the program only needs it one time. But you're still in there. And once you're in our portal, once you fill out certs and reps and we qualify you, and that's not easy. Qualifying suppliers is very expensive. It's drawn out. So be patient. Even if you fill out that qualification form, Ken can tell you, it's still not guaranteed, but it's better than nothing, and they can find you. So use external resources to